welcome to another episode of Mangusto Garage. Today we're going to start, or have a look round my latest, well, how would you call it, project, I suppose. It's been in the garage, in my other garage, for about 2 or 3 years, and I thought it's about time I pulled it out. So there's a few bits going on with SOO that I'm waiting on parts for, so I thought, well, we can start on this because one doesn't like to have idle hands. So let's have a quick look around it and see what I've let myself in for, shall we? It's 73, November 73, Portuguese built, so it's built in Azambuja, down by Lisbon. 1600 GT facelift, obviously, it's got the big back lights. It's pretty original, so it's got all its original rust, instead of having years of dodgy repairs, although there has been some dodgy repairs which we'll come to in a minute. It is pretty sound. Floors, inner sills, chassis legs, strut tops, inner wings, pretty good, but it is going to need, well, you'll see in a minute. So back panel's good, a couple of dings in it, nothing we can't cope with. It's going to need a spare wheel well. I don't know why in Portugal, I think out of most of the cars I've restored here, they all need spare wheel wells. You wouldn't think, like, you know, but I mean you could, but it's so thin in places, it's just not worth it. So I'll cut it out. I got one out of a Mark III. The car's not going to be it's going to be nice, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to get all, oh, that's not original Mark 1 and all stuff like that. I don't do that. Like, it's not that kind of car. The pegs are optional. Again, the rear panel, this bit, sometimes they can go even underneath it. There's no rust underneath that. Little bit here and there on the edge. Look at that. I've not seen one of them before. It's a lower rear repair panel, I guess, from the 80s. I think it might be a Ford one, or they've used a sticker that's very similar to a Ford. I'd imagine Ford made repair panels like that, but perhaps they did. So we've got the usual dings. It's going to need repairs to the very lower section on this one. The other side is going to need that. Arches, yeah, you know, but it's never had arches. So give me a car that's rusty, that's never had repairs, and yeah, you some more honest car, you know what you're dealing with. So sills, arches, spare wheel well. I've deleted the opening rear windows because, well, they're crap, really, if I'm honest with you. The biggest headache with this is this A-pillar. I've already taken the wings off it and obviously stripped all the engine out of it and stuff. It did have a 16 Pinto in it, which obviously was the original engine that had had water leaking into it for, I don't know, the 30 years it's been outside or off the road. 2 litre 5-speed, you know, it's a winning combination. So yeah, A-pillar this side. I've got one that I cut out of another car, which is really good. So we're going to get pretty much involved in taking this out and putting the entire section in. It's an export shell. Now, for those of you who don't know, Ford supplied places like South Africa, Portugal, America. Everyone's slightly different. They had slightly different shells, but what they call an export shell. So to look at it, you'd think the inner wing was from a 3 litre because it's got these support plates on, walking plates some people call them, I don't know why. Strut top reinforcement plates. They did these in Mark 1s and Mark 2s. But so to look at it, this section, oh, it's a 3 litre shell. No, it's not, because the lower section here, you can see, isn't extended where the 3 litres or the V6 shells, yeah, or some V6 shells, because the 2.3s and yeah, we're different. They 2.3s were the same as this, but say let's say 3 litre shells were they continued to here. So it's what they call an export shell. I don't think we used them in England. You didn't. I haven't never seen one in the UK. But over here they're quite common, and certainly some of the South African cars I've seen as well. But let's focus on some of the positive points. So yeah, strut top's very good. There's a chassis number. Sorry if it's not straight enough for some of our viewers. Is it too moody? Is that what I believe it is? But look at these headlamp buckets. Facelift Capri. It's been off the road for about 30 years. Look! My God, I was doing these 20 years ago and they weren't like that in the UK. It's going to need a battery tray because I'm suspecting that somebody filled it up with a hose. I've seen that before. Slight something dodgy on the inner wing there, so it's going to need, I mean, I want to get rid of all this. So we're going to cut all that out. But I mean, yeah, battery tray, front cross member, because that's, well, yeah, it was rusty, but I cut most of it out. Front panel, again, the slam panel's good. And again, when we look at, you know, the chassis legs and stuff, you know, yeah, all right, it's rusty in places, but it's not rusty everywhere, you know. So yeah, so I mean, when I was doing these in England, there was just, you know, everywhere it is rusty. So, and like I said before, like a lot of the Portuguese cars, thankfully, the areas of rust stay localised. It's because the climate here is a lot drier, obviously, so it gives the cars a chance. And said before, this hasn't had loads and loads of repairs, so it's an honest car. Again, it's going to need a sill this side, bottom of the A pillar. This side doesn't warrant a complete A pillar. It's solid on the inside and here. The usual stuff on the bulge. Sill, and this arch is, yeah, it's probably, well, there you go, there's some of it. Yeah, it's probably inner and outer this time. I can probably fabricate an inner section up, but I've got a new outer section to go in it, and obviously we got this for the back. And if you look at this, that looks ever so much like a Ford part sticker, but if anyone knows any better, drop it in the comments. Be interesting to know. This was a part that came from somewhere in Portugal, or it was bought here. That'd be interesting. But yeah, so this is the latest project. I'm thinking Ford signal yellow with the old black bonnet and the black stripe that comes up to here. 2 litre 5-speed, nice interior, nice set of wheels, probably 4 spokes. And yeah, and that'll do really. You know, I ain't gonna go too mad with it. It's not gonna be, oh, everything's got to be original, this, that, and the other. No, it's not that sort of car. Probably single leaves, 2.8 front springs, big 24mm anti-roll bar. You know, and the boss is calling, so I'll get on with the A pillar, and we'll come back to it after that. So the way I like to separate stuff, I'm not saying this is the only way I'm right, you guys do it like this, everyone's got their own way, but for me this works. When you're trying to separate an infected skin from another one, if you like, or an infected piece of metal from another one, I tend to cut out as much as I can, and then when you've got the joining piece where it's spot welded, I just run slits down it. Now obviously you try not to cut through the skin, like here for instance, the firewall or the bulkhead or whatever. Try not to cut into that, but if you see, I've just put slits all the way sort of around it, then get your water pump pliers. And the good thing is always make sure you're wearing protective clothes. So you've got your safety glasses and you've got your steel toe cap sandals, obviously most important. So got your slits, and then thumbs up. Then all you're left to do then is, obviously you've got some of the spot weld still stays there, and you might get a bit more of it off, but and all you've got to do is just grind down the top, and then you're ready for fitment of the new piece. And it's just something that works for me. It makes it a lot easier, a lot less grinding and stuff, you know. It's just a simpler way of doing it. So I'm not saying you have to do it that way, it's just what works for me. So we've got the A-pillar cut out. Now I've had to take the inner support out. Now normally I wouldn't do that. Excuse the wind if there is any. We've got these microphones because resident Steven Spielberg likes it without wind. But anyway, back to the point. Normally I wouldn't take that out because obviously it's quite a structurally integral area. And if I was using, say, an expressed steel panel which just fits over the top, you'd leave the inner section there, but there was so much corrosion in it, where you can see from this, yeah, it's all everywhere, so it's lost all its structural integrity anyway. But here's one we prepared earlier. It's a very good panel, nothing there as you can see. I managed to join it on the support on the inside. You can see I've left some of the support in, so I'll overlap and double seam it. It's going to need a little repair there, but other than that, it's a very good panel. So that's just about here. and I'll get all that welded on, and then you can come back and tell me whether it's any good or not. So, after erring on this side of caution, I did actually cut this section here. Whoops, don't smoke, kids, bad for you. And move it inwards. So that bottom of the A-pillar bulges on, because yeah, I measured it to a standard one, and they did stick out about another maybe centimetre, half an inch. So that's all welded in and not sticking out too much, so the wing should fit properly, I should say. A couple of little repairs in the front. I've seam welded along the floor on the inside. It's a little bit of corrosion. Again, superficial, and then prepared this. It's not perfect, it's not brand new, but it certainly doesn't warrant replacing, so I've rust killed it and zinced it. Another little repair on the very end there, and then we got the sill to go on, so flying along really. So boys and girls, here's the A-pillar in. It's obviously seamed around here, and I've followed the line of the bulkhead down there. And I've plug welded it, so drilled holes and then MIG'd it, and then it's seam welded all the way in here as well, so it's nice and strong. Couple of little repairs on the floor, nothing too scary. The rest of it I'm going to have to address when the sill's off. I have jointed there, but got a little bit of holage there. This morning I've changed the battery tray, because the old one was somewhat deleted really. There was a strange hole in there, which we think someone is where they've filled it up with water, battery up with water, which is a big no-no. The support was alright, and we've cut the front cross member off because of that really. So I got mostly prep work this morning, but we've got a nice new to you one here. It's from a Mark III, which is for the rivet counters, is going to upset you, but it's not exactly going to be in a totally original show car. It'd be nice, don't be wrong, but yeah, so that's give me less rust over originality any day. So there we go. So once that cross member's on and the new front panel, which I believe is there, I'll come back to you for another update.